Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to talk potential new models. For those of you who are not aware, for those of you who are aware, of course you're going to know this already, but there was an article a couple of days ago about Nova, of course all the awesome things in Nova, we got sisters and stuff like that. The Psychic Awakening for me was the cherry on top of the cake, and one of the sentences in it was, if that wasn't enough, the series will be accompanied by a whole swathe of new models, including some miniatures you've been looking forward to for ages, such as the first ever plastic Howling Banshee, the Howling Banshee. In this video, I actually want to talk about what other potential models they can do. This is more or less going to be me like kind of wish listing my side of stuff, but of course in the comment section I'd love to see what you want for your models. So let's jump in and let's get started. So I think we should start with a Xenos race, and this is probably my favourite Xenos race, and it is the Orcs. And the characters I would like to see most, or the models, let's say, I would like to see most accompany the Orc race is, first off, a brand new leader of the Orcs. We all know that Ghazghkull is the main man when it comes to the Orcs. He's big, he's massive, he's mean, he's got the power, he's got like an armada of millions of ships. He even says in the Psychic Awakening trailer that the power of the Orcs, this potential power of the Orcs, has not been seen since the Beast arose back in M32. And for those of you who know the story, that was a very make or break moment when it came to the Imperium survival. I won't go in and spoil the details and stuff, case for those of you who haven't read it, but it's a great series. You should go and pick it up and read it. So my first big model I would like to see to return to the Orcs is a brand new Ghazghkull model. His model at the moment doesn't really do it for me. It's a great model, don't get me wrong. Back in the day it was the bee's knees, but when you compare it to the likes of like Magnus or Rebute or Mortarion, these big faction wide the main models for each faction, let's say, it just doesn't stand up to it. It just looks a bit odd. He looks too small. Ghazghkull needs to be this hulking mass of dread, just absolute sheer muscle, plates, hulking, just anger, rage, Dakar, just all built into one model, which as soon as you put it down on the battlefield, you see, wow, okay, that is the big guy, and I'm scared. I'm scared of that, and something needs to be done about that guy ASAP. More models I'd like to see added to the Orc race are new boys. Now, I know this is a bit of a split decision, because Orc fans, well, some of the Orc fans I've spoke to is that they want new boys, but the only problem is that since they've got so many of the old boys, it's going to be like they just can't even imagine painting like a whole new set of boys and stuff like that, because for those of you who don't know, you basically just get as many boys as you can just to spam and get out the field and get into Dakar or melee range and stuff like that. So it's the potential of painting basically a brand new army of these new boys that I think scares some of my friends who are Orc players, rather than excite them, even though they are excited, in a way, like hopefully they will get new stuff. It's more of a scarier thought that, oh my god, maybe I'll have to paint a whole other army. The problem is with the boys for me at the moment is that they just don't feel very scary. Again, when you compare it to like the Primaris range, when you start comparing it to, like, for example, the upcoming Sister range that's going to be releasing, the Chaos stuff that's come out, it design wise, yes, back in the day they were amazing, but when you compare it to these armies now, they just feel out of place. I want the boys to look incredible. Do you know what I absolutely love is the AOS Uruks. Is that what they're called? Uruks? Or I'm just going to call them Orcs. The AOS Orcs look incredible. If we could have something like that brought over to the 40k side with more of a sci-fi feeling, let's say, more of a Dakar feeling, I think that would be amazing. I would love to see something like that with the Orcs, because Orcs and Eldar are probably the two armies that need, for me, updating the most. I know Orcs basically had the vehicle updates. I like the vehicles, I love them and stuff like that, but you more or less play, well, I more or less play with, infantry-based stuff, and if my army was lacking some of the stuff like the Orcs were when it came to the infantry stuff, that personally is what I would be, hoping for the most. And on the subject of Eldar itself, I think by now that we can all agree. My hatred for the Xenos runs deep, but I can agree that the Eldar are probably the biggest army that needs some upgrades. So when it comes to like big models, let's say, just looking at the site and stuff, if you just go there and just filter HQ, you can see this for yourself. The avatar of Kane looks incredibly old. Like it kind of looks like the size of a Primarch Lieutenant. It doesn't even look that big. I want this thing to be like just tall, wreathed in flame. You know, it's just when you put it on the tabletop, if you want to be thinking, wow, that thing is big, scary, and mean. I need to stay the hell away from that. It's the same with all the Phoenix Lords as well. I actually do think that one of the potential models to be released for this will be how do you pronounce the name? Zanja. Do you know the woman with the long hair? Because remember a couple of days ago they released a rumor image, and again this is just me theorizing on this, but with the whole Banshee announcement, now they're getting new plastics and stuff like that. I'm thinking maybe they can have her as like the big HQ character to come out as well, and that could be like tying nice with the Banshees and stuff like that. I personally think it would work very, very well. I'm really hoping for, when it comes to the armies of the Imperium, I'm sure we'll get to a certain batch of characters at the end of the video. Stay tuned, of course. But first, I would love the Guard to get a little bit more love. And what I mean by the Guard to get a little more love is that at the moment, we just have Cadians. Like, there's nothing wrong with Cadians. Cadians are cool. Cadians are awesome. Their planet blew up, which is pretty much of a bummer. But hey, Cadians are still around. It's just because Cadia blew up doesn't mean Cadians vanished. But the problem is with the Imperial Guard regiment is that that's all you have now, is just Cadians. And the Imperial Guard, for me, my love for the Imperial Guard started with the amount of awesome regiments that the Imperial Guard had. You had the Vostrians, you had Talon, you had the Valhallans, the Praetorians, for those of you, from back in the day. You had these awesome regiments and stuff, and now it's just all gone. It's just Cadians. So I was really, really hoping, really, really wishing for, again, this is like maximum wish list in here, that during this whole process of like the Awakening, maybe GW could go out and actually introduce a brand new regiment or redo a regiment from the lore, because it's the personality of the Guard which is really, really lacking for me. I would absolutely love a new Praetorian regiment, like all the red and stuff like that. I don't think they'll ever do it because of the copyright issues and stuff like that. But Armageddon Steel Legion, that is one of my second probably out of 3 top Guard regiments. If Armageddon is on the cards anywhere like that, that would be a perfect time to introduce them new plastic Armageddon sculpts. Commanders, HQs, all the whole shebang. Maybe it's just like an upgrade kit or something. Maybe you can use like the Cadian's main body, but just release like heads and arms, and I don't know how they do it, but yes, just to bring a little bit more personality back into the Guard, so everyone's just not Cadians painted a million different ways and stuff like that. When I want to walk past the table, I want to see, wow, okay, I'm going to stop, because those guys look amazing. You see it now with the Forge World stuff, like when I see people play Death Corps and stuff like that, it does make you stop and think, wow, that is a different looking Guard army. I absolutely love it. Now, I really wish GW would bring that over, and then they would do it for their plastic range, rather than me selling an arm so I could purchase some Death Corps of Krieg. Now, when it comes to top 3 in my wish listing, I think by now we can all agree that Valrak is going to choose something which Valrak always talks about. Of course, the top 3 is always going to be a Primarch, and a Primarch. Now, I'm not saying that this is a guaranteed Primarch to return, but what I am saying is that this would be a perfect opportunity to guarantee a Primarch to return. This whole awakening, the whole narrative is going to be breaking, they said. It's basically going to be the next big massive narrative of the story. Everyone is involved. This is the perfect opportunity. I don't think you can get a better opportunity than to bring someone back into the fold than this. And of course, we've got so many awesome options. I've actually seen people saying, what if the Psychic Awakening is Sanguinius Awakening, you know, from death? And I'm like, please, no. Really, right. I know you Blood Angels love Sanguinius. I get it. I love Sanguinius too. You know, he died for, let's say, our sins. He's basically 40k Jesus. But the thing is, he deserves to be dead, because if he came back alive, it would ruin his entire story arc. He knew he was going to die upon the vengeful. His sacrifice was in basically defeating Horus, if you believe, you know, the chink in the armor and stuff like that. So if they bring it back, it'd be like, okay then, it meant nothing. It could completely ruin the story. So please, no Sanguinius when it comes back into it. I'd rather have characters like Vulcan. Vulcan could be, again, another perfect opportunity to bring back. From Armageddon itself, that is where he was last seen fighting the Beast. Jagatai Khan got sucked into a webway. It would be amazing if he come back. Of course, you know, the Eldar and stuff, working close with the Imperium. Maybe they know secret places, dark places where, you know, he could potentially pop out from and shout, "Follow Khan!" and start chopping people's heads off. Yep, I can completely down for that. And of course, when it comes to traitor Primarchs, again, I'm going to go back to Armageddon with Angron. I believe, I 110% believe that the only way Angron can come back into this galaxy is by a summoning ritual upon Armageddon itself. That is where Angron was banished. So therefore, I believe that is the only place he can be brought back into the galaxy. Now, the proof I have for this is that when the Gathering Storm happened and the Great Rift happened, there was a Chaos worshippers who actually went to Armageddon to attempt to bring Angron back. The Salamanders turned up and they stopped it. You know, Angron didn't come back into the galaxy and stuff like that. But that really, for me, proves the point is they went to Armageddon because that is where he was banished. If they wanted to bring him back, why would they go to an Imperial stronghold to bring him back? Why not just go to like a backrock planet and, you know, cut people's heads off there to like spill the blood and bring him back that way? It doesn't make sense. So that's why I personally believe Angron can only come back on Armageddon. And again, Armageddon, there's so much focus around Armageddon. Steel Legion, Vulcan, potential Black Templars, you know, again, the rabbit hole goes deep on Armageddon. And with the whole Psychic Awakening and stuff like that, I think it could really play into Lorgar's hands as well. Because for me, Lorgar is a really powerful Psyker. For those who have read the Horus Heresy, of course, it goes by the Emperor, Magnus, and for me, Lorgar. Lorgar, when he's starting to embrace chaos, got very, very psychically powerful. I think there was one instance where he bitch slapped Magnus from across the galaxy with his psychic powers. So, you know, Lorgar is no fool to be messed with, even though he is horrible and I hate him 100% because he's just a moaning little person, let's say. I'm not going to go into it. But yeah, I would love his return into 40k for the story purposes alone, because I would love to see his reaction to the Imperium as it is in this state, as it's basically a religious state at the moment, and that religion was founded off him. It was the foundations are built off Lorgar's preaching, and I would love to see his reaction to it and to see what he's got to say, and also for the Imperium itself to learn of it. I think it could play out so well if it comes to it. And of course, if you bring Lorgar back, then there's a potential of bringing Korax back as well. Again, if you haven't watched the Korax video, we spoke about this the other day. Korax has a Lorgar scent, and he's coming for him. So, you know, maybe he'd be a 1-2 whammy there. That could be pretty cool, of course. Shrike is potentially, well, he is getting it. It's not potentially. He's getting a new model. And the Raven Guard Codex and stuff like that. Ooh, he can intertwine it all, do it all, and stuff like that. It could work out very, very well. But I think the top 3 models that everyone wants to come back, well, I'm going to put my guy in the top 3 because it's me, is, of course, Lionel Johnson and Lehman Russ. Now, again, the Lion is asleep on the rock. The Psychic Awakening could be like a reference to whatever happens. Maybe, you know, this a psychic burst of energy. I don't know what the hell a Psychic Awakening is, but maybe it could be involved in the Lion, since he is basically Sleeping Beauty at this time, and it was like the powers of chaos that put him in this state. You know, with like, you know, the dark energies. Maybe that energy can, you know, basically reverse whatever happened, or maybe it's just the Watchers just, you know, put him in maximum sleep mode and stuff like that. We don't really know what's keeping him asleep in the way he is at this moment in time. But yes, this could be a perfect introduction for the Lion, for him to pop out, him to come back, and get his take on the galaxy and his interactions with the Dark Angels, what's been going on with them. Of course, for those of you who know, Luther has escaped from the Rock. The Fallen are gathering Legion-sized strength in the north. There's so many stories you can intertwine with this guy, which would make it a really fantastic return for the Dark Angels and for the Lion himself. And of course, with Leman Russ, he went looking for stuff, and we haven't seen him since. We don't know where he's been, what he's been doing. I personally think that Magnus had him like caged up like a wild dog somewhere. That's my basically theory to it anyway. But again, it could be a perfect introduction to bring him back, and again, just like the Lion, get his views on everything and to see what's going on. And it's basically another fan favorite Primarch to come back. I think if the Lion or Leman Russ came back, they would sell like hotcakes. They would literally double GW's profit just in those models alone, because I think everyone would be going out and buying it, because the Dark Angels and the Space Wolves, of course the Blood Angels as well, are some of the most popular Space Marine chapters, and Space Marines are very, very popular. So if you add those big HQ models to it, then business wise it makes great sense, because you're going to be earning a chunk of change, as they say. But let's save the best for last, because of course the only Primarch that deserves to return, the only Primarch that should return, the only Primarch that the Imperium needs at this moment of time, and with the Psychic Awakening, whatever's bloody going down and everyone's smashing each other in the face, we need to fortify our position, brothers. We need to fortify overlapping fields of fire, and the only Primarch to do that is, of course, glorious Rogel Dawn. If Big Daddy D returned to the Imperium, I would first cream all over. I would just lose it. You probably won't see me for the week. I'd just be in hospital, like overexhausted with excitement. It'd be absolutely amazing. Story-wise, again, model-wise, more Primarchs coming back. Of course, I'd love it. I'd love to see whatever happened to his hand. Maybe he has like this little like chain on a fist hand he shoots, like that guy out of Hellboy and stuff. That could be kind of funny. But yeah, more Primarchs coming back, more stuff is always going to be amazing for me. And I think when it mentions like characters that we wouldn't expect, it says a swathe of new models, including some miniatures you've been looking forward to for ages. That for me, when it says looking forward to for ages, that for me is just hinting at like big stuff and what everyone's been wanting. And everyone at the moment has been wanting Primarchs. That's what everyone's been wanting. Everyone wants more Primarchs, either traitors or loyalists. So I think GW has picked up the message. It's been a lot of time now since we've had a Primarch return, so I really do think that the time is ripe for Primarchs to return. So please GW, get it done. Alright chaps, thank you for coming, thank you for watching. I'm sorry, this is it's nearly a 20-minute video. Recording this, I'll have to edit it down. Hopefully it's under 20 minutes. But yeah, thank you for coming, thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts and feedback on this. What models do you want the most? Of course, it doesn't have to be like HQ characters. It could be like a squad of something else, like Primaris Sword Brethren. I never even spoke about Primaris Sword Brethren. It's anything you want. Let's have a nice little discussion about it, and we can talk about it in the comment sections below. Thank you for watching, thank you for coming. See you now, and bye bye.